Welcome back to Good Morning Vail. It's Tuesday, which means that we are focusing on wellness and mental health, compliments of All Points North Lodge in Edwards. And here to tell us a little bit more about some really interesting ideas when it comes to therapy is their clinical director. This is Abe Antine. Good morning.
Hi,
It's
good
so
morning.
good to have you here.
It's good to be here.
It's been a little while since we caught up.
Yeah.
And so Abe, there's so many different elements to therapy, and there's one in particular, PIT therapy, or PIT.
Yep.
Can you just first of all define what that is?
It's hard to put it in definition, but basically what it is it's a form of trauma therapy and a framework that really looks at the link between childhood trauma and some of the behaviors, less than functional behaviors that we see in adulthood.
And this is something that you've studied. It kind of was a method that was developed a long time ago.
Yeah. So the person that developed it, her name is, she's still alive. Her name is Pia Melody, and I actually trained with her. She was a nurse in a addiction treatment center, and what she found was that. She talks about this in her book, Facing Codependence, but what she found was that even though the patients that she was treating for addiction and alcohol, they were still struggling in relationships, with their self-esteem, healthy boundary setting, getting their needs and wants met. And what she believed that was really rooted in childhood trauma, because she had experienced that as well and had those same symptoms.
Wow.
Yeah. And she was a nurse and not a clinician, which is kind of interesting, but then she went from being a nurse into more of a clinical therapeutic model.
So how would something like this work?
So it's really about doing a really thorough assessment with your client and finding out what happened in their childhood. And I think I talked a little bit about it last time. When I'm saying childhood trauma, I'm not necessarily meaning, overt physical, sexual abuse, shaming, although that happens, and that's, but most often it's really about parents really trying to do the right thing, but missing the boat, not intending to neglect their children, or getting their own needs met through their children to the point where it is destructive on the child's development. So it's about getting this assessment, finding out where some of these earlier childhood wounds had occurred, and then specifically doing work around some of those childhood wounds to heal those wounds. And the idea is that by healing some of those wounds, and I can get into how we do that, but the idea is that through healing some of those childhood wounds, in real time in our adult lives, we're able to make better choices and work ourselves through situations that would normally be very triggering or emotionally intense, which would cause some of the destructive behavior. The work that we do is able to, help that.
Oh my gosh! Seriously, we need to have like an hour just to be able to talk a little bit more about what you do. But obviously, people are curious and they're thinking, man, maybe that sounds like it would be a good fit for me. What's the best way to get started?
Is to really just contact us, And I just want to say, do I have a couple seconds?
Yeah, sure.
That you don't have to have an addiction, right? If you're experiencing difficulty in relationships, or you can't regulate your emotions in a healthy way, or strain or anger or overworking, or just not feeling right, that this is what it's designed for. You don't have to be an addict or struggling with substance abuse.
Amazing. Yeah. So thank you so much for being here. It's always so fascinating talking to you. But if you want more information and you'd like to just reach out and maybe see if this is a good starting point for you, apnlodge.com is the website, and the phone number is 888-329-6212. And again, apnlodge.com for more information. We're going to take a quick break. We'll have another look at that local weather forecast coming up.